With this, let me first of all welcome all the participants to the season 3 of Sky Campus, which is a digital knowledge series initiated by ICT Academy to cope up with this situation where we thought it's our duty to bring in some insights and knowledge from experts from across the globe and senior policy makers, senior industry veterans, and senior academic leaders, to give input specific to the educators and the faculty members, because every college is taking lot of initiative to deal with students, but we thought it's time we should give inputs to faculty and make them keep pace with the changes which are happening, and make sure they are in pace with what the government and industry is talking for the future. So last 2 weeks we have been running. We had an opportunity to listen to the chairman of ACT, chairman of NAC, and various other industry veterans. This week we are going to start on the theme, the future is here already. Because whether it be industry, whether it be this situation, now government is telling many companies from across the globe are looking at India as a destination. Now when this situation is there, how are we going to catch hold of this opportunity? Because the opportunity is going to be very big post this COVID. So we thought when we talk about opportunity, we can definitely cannot miss innovation. When we talk about innovation, there is no other person than Atal Innovation Mission's brain behind the entire mission, and the senior most person who has been with the industry, Mr. Ramanan, and now with the government, chasing and driving one big mission of this Atal Innovation Mission as a mission director. We thought we should listen to him and get his inputs to the academia. So I welcome you to this session, sir, and we will be happy to listen to your keynote. Post that, after sir's keynote, we are going to listen to one very senior expert, both in industry and academia, but we wanted her to wear the academic hat today because madam is also an industry person. She is the CAS chairperson of Chennai here. But we wanted her to because we have been listening about initiative taken by various institutions on coping up the situation and how the future of learning is going to be, how technology is going to be leveraged by education institutions, specifically the higher education institutions. So we have none other than Madam Dr. Thangam Meganathan, who is the chairperson of the Rajalakshmi institutions from Chennai, who is going to talk to us. So welcome you, madam. So with this, let me welcome all the participants. We are close to 3,000 now, so we will continue the session. Some may join in the first 1 or 2 minutes after 10 o'clock. As I say every time, now we are very happy to host this session, and this is a technology-based session. Definitely, we have taken all effort to ensure it is streamed well. But if there is any audio-video lag, just click on the reconnect button at your top, so that on the top of the screen, you will get connected in next 2 to 3 seconds. So we will not have any issues. But in case, because some of them are attending from Assam, some from Mumbai, some are from rural parts of very many states. So in case if there is any issue, for a longer, please don't worry about it. We have the full session recorded and it will be available to you. So with this, we will now request sir, Mr. Ramanan to give us opening keynote address to this entire faculty of around 4,000 plus educators across India, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Anbu and Dr. Thangam. It's indeed a pleasure for me to join on the Sky Campus webinar today. And I'd like to also wish very good morning to all of you who are present on this particular call. It is a privilege for me to be able to spare a few moments and share a few moments of reflection on a topic that is very important to every one of us in this particular audience and even beyond. I do hope every one of you are very safe in your home and practicing all the safeguards that this particular crisis demands. It's a very unusual crisis, a very unexpected one, which has descended upon us very rapidly and totally unexpectedly. And therefore, it has also, in a manner of speaking, stressing the complete status of the system in our ability to react, our ability to position ourselves well. And in all of this, as you can see over the last few months or over the last few weeks, the importance of innovation is very key. If we are an innovative country and we have a demographic dividend which says that we can be a very innovative country, that innovation has to come to fore in such a crisis, not only to be able to meet the demands of such a crisis, but also to be able to position ourselves in the future. So with that, I also want to thank Sky Campus for organizing these seminars, or the webinars as it is called, because these things give us an opportunity to reflect together on what we need to do as a society. Each of us are having certain roles and responsibilities, some as teachers, some as mentors, some as people who run institutions, and some as students who are coming on into the workplace in the coming future. After all, we are a country of 1.3 billion people. We have more than 1.4 million schools in our country. We have over 10,500 engineering and related institutions belonging to the AICTE. We have more than 39,000 universities and colleges. And we also have a number of business schools. We have close to about 150 million young students who are going to be entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. So we have what is called as a demographic dividend, which is the envy of many a country. It is 65% of our country is under 35 years old. And we have this tremendous youthful energy and this youthful force, which is going to be entering into the workplace over the next several years. The second thing that is happening in our country is we have been, over the last 8 to 10 years, one of the fastest growing economies of the world. Of course, the current COVID-19 crisis is testing the economy of the country. But over the last several years, we have been a fast-growing economy. And a fast-growing economy is very important. It's very important because when we talk of innovation, we talk of entrepreneurship. Unless you are a growing economy, it becomes difficult to conceive about innovation, about entrepreneurship. And the third thing that is happening in our world today is technology is literally changing the landscape of the world. It is changing the way you are experiencing the world. It is changing the way the world is experiencing you. And this particular webinar is a proof of the evidence of how technology is reshaping the way we are all interacting. It would not have been conceivable about 5 to 10 years ago that we would all be 3,000 people or 3,610 as I see it right now, can be connected together on such a network and deliberate on topics together. And there is a whole lot of other things that are happening. You have 3D printing, which is revolutionizing the way you are able to design, develop, conceptualize, and create products right in front of your eyes without having to go to a large manufacturing shop. You are having robotics, which is changing the very face of automation. Robotics is going to play a very important role in such a situation. For example, imagine the COVID-19 situation getting extended over a period of time. Unless you have our shop floors being able to leverage robotics and automation, you're going to find it difficult to be able to continue manufacturing and to be able to maintain an economic brisk pace going into the future. You have advanced transportation systems. We are talking about not only high-speed transportation in terms of metros, in terms of bullet trains, but we are talking about transportation system which can even take us to another planet. And you have space shuttles and a whole lot of technology which is going into that and amazing speed. So you have Elon Musk focusing on that. You have electric cars. You have vehicles which are going to be emitting less emissions in the future because that's needed. I mean, you have a virus which has paralyzed the entire world. Imagine if there is an event of climate change, a similar event happening at any time in the future. So we have to be ensuring that all of these do not happen. And if you do not want to make it happen or do not want to be a cause to make it happen, it is very important for us to bring in innovation rapidly. We are also talking about IoT, Internet of Things, which is getting integrated into every element of our living, whether it is in our houses, whether it is in our rooms, whether it is in your car, whether it is on the person. We are having wearable devices. We are going to have soon a whole lot of personal protective equipment, masks, and so on, which are needed during this crisis, which are IoT sensitive. We are having mobile communications and wireless communications and 5G, which is going to be entering into the workplace. And 5G is going to revolutionize the way you're going to have huge amounts of data being communicated in very short periods of time. And you are going to have a whole lot of new applications that are going to come out because of 5G, because it's going to enable massive machine-to-machine communications, massive data flows between factories, not just within a factory. It's going to completely change the way you're going to do collaboration using augmented virtual reality. You are able to now, today we are talking about talking and sharing this particular webinar, but soon you'll have shop floors which are going to be interacting with each other based upon data that is flowing between one shop floor to another shop floor, between one factory in Chennai and another factory in Bangalore, for example, between a location in India and a location abroad. And that's going to be because of 5G technology, which is going to enable large amounts of data flow with very low latency and with incredibly high speeds and bandwidth. So we are talking about technology again, which is completely shaping the world, and will continue shaping the world in the future. So in light of these three things, you have a demographic dividend, which is a fantastic energy and a force, a youthful energy, a youthful force that is coming out from our country. A fast-growing economy, which is very important if you want to support innovation and entrepreneurship. And you have technology which is virtually becoming affordable, available, accessible, and which is enabling you to reimagine the entire world, reimagine everything that you're talking about, reimagine the way we work, reimagine the way we are manufacturing, reimagine the way we are living. So it is enabling you to do that, and it is becoming affordable, it is becoming available, and it's becoming accessible. So with the convergence of all these three, it is very, very important for us all to see how we can boost the innovation and entrepreneurial capability of our country. You see, India has never lacked for great innovators, great thinkers, great engineers, great scientists. We have had some of the most outstanding philosophers. We have had artists. We have a civilization which has grown over 5,000 years. And this civilization has not lacked at any point in time in intellectual capability or in intellectual horsepower or in our ability to create new things. We have had great scientists like Abdul Kalam coming from the remotest place in Rameshwaram, where you have only probably one school, maybe one university. You have a number of temples. That's what Rameshwaram is famous for. And you probably have a mosque, but you do not, and you have a lot of fishing boats. And out of such a place came a man who became one of the finest scientists the world has seen. He rose on to become the president of our country. We have had Ramanan, whose death anniversary was just yesterday. Great man, an outstanding mathematician whose problems are yet being, whose solutions are yet being understood by the rest of the world. And he achieved all that within a small age of 32. And every Indian who has gone abroad, whether it is to the US or to any other part of the world, has done extraordinarily well. Now, why is it that we have a Satya Nadella in Microsoft, a Sundar Pichai in Google, an Adobe director, Shantanu Narayan, and the President Trump today has in his special committee, which he has established for resurrecting the American economy, he has 6 to 7 Indians who are participating in that committee. That's because they have been able to create an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of the country, which attracts the best, and where people who have the potential are able to flower and blossom and realize their full potential. And that is what we want to do in India. We want to set up an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of a country, because we are a country of 600,000 plus villages. We have 715 plus districts. We have 115 of them aspirational districts. We have 8 tier 1 cities, but we have the rest of them as tier 2, tier 3. We have identified 100 smart cities for development. Now, if you are having such a diverse country with such a diverse population across, and we have 22% of our country still below the poverty line, we have 44% of our country agri and agri-economy based. How are we going to ensure that this country has an innovative ecosystem that is spurring innovation, not only the creation of innovation, but also the creation of entrepreneurs? And how are we going to ensure that we will not only address the needs of the people in the tier 1 cities, but also the tier 2, tier 3 rural districts, the hilly districts, the coastal districts of our country? That is the challenge in front of us. And that is why it's very important for us to have an innovation ecosystem that spans and spreads across the length and breadth of the country. And that is what Atal Innovation Mission is all about. This mission has been set up by the Prime Minister as a flagship initiative under the NITI Aayog. The NITI Aayog, as all of you know, is the National Institution for Transforming India. And one of the important things for transforming India is going to be its innovation and entrepreneurial capability. Like I said, we don't have a lack of innovators, but what we had was a lack of an innovative ecosystem. And that is where every one of you who is part of this call can play a very important role in driving this innovation and entrepreneurial spirit across the country. So what are we doing in order to enable this? What we are doing at this point in time is we are taking a holistic approach. We are saying if you want innovation and entrepreneurs in this country, you have to start young. So you have to have our young students graduating from schools to acquire a problem-solving, innovative mindset. You see, you can't talk about great innovation or great entrepreneurship if you do not create a problem-solving, innovative mindset in our young students. And therefore, at the school level, we have launched thousands of tinkering labs called Atal Tinkering Labs. Today, we have more than 5,000 Atal Tinkering Labs implemented across the country. And what is an Atal Tinkering Lab? It is a dedicated innovation workspace in a school, 1,500 square feet, where the latest of technologies like 3D printers, robotics, IoT, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, do-it-yourself kits are being implemented. The children come to that class, they do not come with any curriculum. They do not come with an idea of being judged. There is no marks for innovation. They come in a spirit of fun and learning. We introduce them to these technologies. We introduce them to the problem. We ask them deliberate on the problems that you are seeing in the community. When you travel from your home to your school, when you are traveling from your school to, let us say, a theater, when you're going to the playground, when you go to a hospital, what are the problems that you see? And can you then converge in small groups of 3 or 4, and be able to solve this problem using these technologies, create prototypes of innovations? The whole idea is to convert the young students from a rote learning mindset that we have all been following. It has served us so far well, but it is not going to serve us well in the future. We cannot have a rote learning mindset. We cannot just be saying, get good marks, get into a good university, get good marks again, go abroad and study well, and get good marks again and join a company, a Google, an IBM, or whatever. We want not just our young students to be job seekers, we want them to become job creators. Because that is the potential that we have in our country, to create job creators, thousands of job creators. And to do that, we want them to acquire a problem-solving, innovative mindset in our schools. Not only are we making sure that these Atal Tinkering Labs are in all the metro districts, but actually out of the 715 districts that are there in our country, more than 670 districts today have Atal Tinkering Labs. And 112 out of the 115 aspirational districts have Atal Tinkering Labs. The effect has been amazing. You are introducing the technology that is relevant for the future. The future is now. That's the topic. And the future is now only if you are introducing the technologies and knowledge about these technologies and how they can play a role in solving problems that we face, like the COVID crisis that we are facing, that the poverty that we are facing, like the agri districts, and there is this huge urban migration which is happening to the 6 or 7 metro cities. And we want to be able to create job opportunities and entrepreneurship in 100 smart cities. Why only in these 8 smart cities, 8 cities? So we want them to be able to become entrepreneurs, to become job creators, to become innovators. And they have it in them. Every Indian, every student has it in them. We are all born innovators. Somewhere across in our educational system, we suppress that capability, that confidence in ourselves. We think we cannot be an innovator. It requires a genius to become an innovator. And that's not true. Every one of us can become one. And every one of us has the inherent capability to become one. But to become that, you have to be able to introduce them to technologies. You have to be able to bring a platform which is keeping current with the future. And so if you see all the solutions that are happening today, whether it is 3D printing, robotics, IoT, 5G and wireless communications, mobile apps and so on, we are introducing that so that the future is now for them. And the solutions that they create are going to be the solutions for the future. At the university level, we are also ensuring when they go into the university, now these students, just to give you an idea, 70% of the Atal Tinkering Labs are in government-aided schools. 70% of the Atal Tinkering Labs are in girls and co-ed schools. And in the last Tinkering Marathon, we run Tinkering Challenges at a school level, Tinkering Fest at a regional level, and Tinkering Marathons at a national level. In these last Tinkering Marathon, more than 50,000 students participated. More than 8,000 innovations got created. Not ideas, not some abstract essay on a paper, but actual prototypes of innovations by the young students. An irrigation management system which is solar powered and IoT based by a school in Thoothukudi, a young girls' school where 6 students from the girls' school created an IoT based irrigation management system because water is a big problem. Water conservation is important. How do you ensure precision agriculture? Israel has developed precision agriculture to an art where they are exporting food from a desert. They are exporting water bottles because of IoT and being able to get it from the atmosphere. They're doing things like that. So we should also be doing at a national level innovations that is going to benefit communities. When they go to the college, we are setting up world-class incubators. A world-class incubator would sponsor and create and foster world-class startups. We have launched more than 100 incubators across the country. 70 of them are operational in the last 2 years. 1,500 startups have come out of this ecosystem of the incubators that we have set up. Now, why do you need an incubator? Every university should have a world-class incubator because your students who are graduating from the university, if they don't have an incubator to try out their ideas and be able to foster a startup, they will just go to the placement office and first seek a job. And there are many talented students who can be job creators. So how do we ensure that we provide them the ecosystem to try out their ideas and convert their ideas and imaginations into innovations that can become products that can become a large company? And that is what is the function of an incubator. You see, in a startup's life cycle, we have 30,000 startups in our country today. So we are a nation of startups. But these 30,000 startups, it is very important for them to have an incubator so that there are many valleys of death that are there in a startup life cycle. How do you prevent these valleys of death? How do you eliminate them? They need, at crucial stages in a startup's life cycle, you need venture capital support. You need angel funding support. You need mentoring support. You need business planning and strategy support. You need support for hiring. You need support for access to a technology lab or a research lab. And therefore, the applicants who are applying for an incubator are universities like yours or research institutions or even the industry. We encourage them that you should have a dedicated 10,000 square feet of workspace where a startup can come and start their activities, start their startup life. And you should be able to support them. We give a grant of up to 10 crores for every incubator so that over a period of 5 years, they're able to make these startups stand on their own legs, become self-sufficient, be investable. A startup has to become investable in a period of 12 to 18 months. If they don't become investable, then they die. But to make them investable, you need all of this support that I talked about. And that is what the incubator is doing. And we are very pleased to see that in this COVID-19 crisis, out of the 30,000 startups, more than 1,500, so I'm coordinating a task force for identifying COVID solutions, COVID-related solutions which can be deployed and which can be immediately implemented. And we launched a call. We are coordinating this with the Department of Biotechnology, the Department of Science and Technology, with Startup India, with Invest India, as well as with NASCOM and CII. And what was the result? We found more than 1,500 ready to deploy innovations being created by the startups. We asked them, what support do you need? They have specified what support is needed. And now we are in the process of ensuring that that support is made available to the startup. The support is not necessarily financial. The support is, they want manufacturing support. They want supply chain management support. They want some mentoring support. They want access to a test lab where they can test out their solution. They want access to regulatory support. So these are all the support that the government is enabling so that these solutions can be immediately deployed for the public, for the benefit of the public. And such an innovation was possible because we have created a startup environment in our country. The third thing that we are doing is we are setting up what are known as Atal Community Innovation Centers. Now, these community innovation centers are to serve the unserved, underserved regions of our country. We want to make sure that not only the tier 1 cities prosper, but the tier 2, tier 3, the villages, the 600,000 plus villages benefit because of this innovation. And we are also able to convert Jugaad innovation that is being created in many places into systemic, robust innovations using technologies that are the future technologies, the technology that I talk about now. And why is this so important? Let's look at this COVID-19 crisis. What has this taught us? This whole urban migration, the density of populations in many places can create a huge problem in terms of healthcare, in terms of waste management, in terms of water management, in terms of access to livelihoods and so on. We want every district in our country to be having the sufficiency, self-sufficiency to create employment, to have access to great healthcare, to be able to have access to great education. Why do you have to go to a city in order to get good education? And therefore, these community innovation centers are very important, the Atal Community Innovation Centers. And we have launched a unique model of collaboration between private sector and public sector for the launch of these Atal Community Innovation Centers. We'll be implementing more than 150 to 200 Atal Community Innovation Centers over the next 4 to 5 years. And the idea here is that there will be a grant of about 2.5 crores from the government, but there will be an equal, if not higher, grant from the applicant along with partners, where they can leverage their CSR funds for the purpose. The fourth initiative that the Atal Innovation Mission has launched is what is known as ARISE, Applied Research and Innovation for Small Enterprises. Applied Research and Innovation for Small Enterprises is actually being launched in the next month. That is in order to stimulate our MSME industry. You see, 70% to 80% of our job force is in the informal sector. And the informal sector is all associated with the MSME industry. So we have to boost our MSME industry so that we are less dependent on import and more dependent on our own ability to manufacture. Make in India has been that initiative. But how do you stimulate Make in India without stimulating innovation, without stimulating entrepreneurship, and without being able to identify challenges which, if solved, will help the MSME community? And that is what the Applied Research and Innovation for Small Enterprises is all about. And finally, we are launching what are known as Atal New India Challenges. We have already launched 24 challenges. These are challenges which will have national impact in terms of social or economic impact. We need both societal impact as well as economic impact. We want our NGOs, there are over 900,000 NGOs in our country. We want to make sure that these NGOs are able to actually help society as much as we are able to have economic prosperity. Both of them have to go hand in hand for India. The future is all about how do we ensure that our country establishes a high quality of living, establishes diversity of occupations, and ensures equality to everybody in their opportunity for development, be it from the villages, be it from the remote districts, or be it from the metro cities and from the cities that we are talking about, the tier 1 cities. That is the challenge in front of us. That is what we all have to gear up. Now, how does that happen? It can only happen with a strong collaboration between the government, the private sector, the industry, the academia, and the MSME industry. And so to do that, we have created a Mentors of India, Mentors of Change network across the country. And that mentoring network is more than 10,000 people like you, people who are professionals or people who are researchers, scientists, people who are teaching. They have become part of this network. And if I would urge, you have 3,000 people on this call, I would urge that, or 4,000 people at this point in time, I would urge that every one of you should become a mentor of change. Because every one of us has benefited because of a mentor. We have come up in our lives at any point in time. You and I have come up because of mentorship of somebody who has guided you. Even if they were not formally called a mentor, that has been somebody who has guided you at various points in your time. How can you, who have achieved this particular status, whatever status you have achieved, how can you give back to the society? And the best form is to become a mentor, to be able to guide a young school student in an Atal Tinkering Lab, to be able to guide a young student in your university, and tell them what the potential in them is, how they can realize this potential, and how they can use technologies of the future, which is creating these platforms like tinkering labs and incubators and so on. How do you leverage all of that in order to position ourselves as a country that can really make a tremendous impact, not only to our own selves, but also to the rest of the world? I'm sure with the focus on technology for good, with the focus on women entrepreneurship as much as we focus on entrepreneurship for the men folk, with a focus on the girl child, with a focus on our remote districts of our country, with a focus on ensuring that every university in our school, every educational institution creates innovators and not just people who just graduate from and get a certificate. The certificate is not important. Are you a problem solver? Are you an innovator? And by the way, you don't need to become a job creator. Even if you are part of a job, even if you're working somewhere, are you innovative? Are you making a difference? Can you make an impact? That is what we all should be striving for. And I'm sure every one of you is engaged in that. I compliment all the people who are working, who are faculty. You are doing a great job. Without great faculty, no country can progress. And I want to thank the organizers of this webinar for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I think it was really a great honor to listen to you and your vision on your activities that you are doing around the Atal tinkering, and starting from the school. I think that's the exact thing which has been missing for long, is what our academia used to always tell. Specifically, the higher education used to always tell the students are not coming with the right kind of skills when they are coming into the college, because they are just taught on subjects and they have just come to college. I think now the situation will change with your inputs right at the school level, making them realize everything is they at least get the foundation of innovation right at the school level. I think it was really wonderful to listen to you, sir. There is one question I will ask you before I go to Madam session, because there are a lot of comments and questions which we don't want to take much here. If there is any specific questions, I will always write to you over mail and you can answer, and I will give it to the participant. So there is somebody who's asking, do you really think India will become a very powerful country post COVID, specifically in terms of innovation? Are we going to become one and develop one another WhatsApp or Zoom or etc., and really going to become the technology based startup nation or entrepreneurship nation with your Atal in place? So what is your perspective on that area? What is your prediction?
Yeah, I'm totally confident that India is going to become a superpower of knowledge and a knowledge-driven economy across the world. Not only will it become a power of knowledge services or knowledge-based economy, but it will also become a great manufacturing place, because India has a need. See, the development of any country is based upon the demand and the supply, right? We have a supply of great people, great intellectual capability. We have one of the largest network of universities and schools and so on. We have the demographic dividend. So if we are able to harness all of that, we are going to make tremendous progress, not only in the knowledge economy, but also in the service economy and the manufacturing economy. And the way technology is advancing, all these technologies are becoming affordable, available, and accessible. So when you have access and when you create an ecosystem, there is no way you can halt the progress of a nation. So I am very optimistic about India's future. I do think India is going to make giant strides. It is important for industry, academia, and government to come together to make that happen. But the potential it exists. And by the way, we have shown the world how we can progress. Look at the ITS economy that has grown. It's become a $180 billion economy just in the last 5 to 10 years. No other country has progressed so far and so rapidly. And today, we have almost every large company driving its research and innovation through India, even though it belongs to the innovation probably, or the IP may belong to them, but they are leveraging Indians to do that. Now, if you are able to multiply that by a factor of 8 or 10 for creating innovations for through the startups and so on, it's going to have a tremendous impact. So I'm very positive, and I think India has a great future ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the encouraging words. In fact, some of the participants said, well, everybody at home, and there is little, people are little down. So now with your all your encouraging words and your stories that you are making up and really making sure we clinch on this innovation and entrepreneurship, and we are very confident our future is going to be very bright. So thank you very much for being with us, sir. Thanks a lot. So with this, now let me move on to the next speaker of today, Madam Dr. Thangam Meganathan. I think she needs no introduction to this education community because she's well popular here. But more than everything, they're the one who are driving technology-based learning, right from the earlier days. But now I think rigorously things are happening in their institution. And Madam, we would love to hear from you, more on how you think the future of education will be and future of learning will be. How do you think technology can be leveraged? And whatever you feel is going to be the future for all of us as educators, as colleges, as higher education. So over to you, Dr. Thangam Meganathan.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Anbu. It's a great pleasure to be part of this Sky Campus. It's a wonderful initiative. But today, with the prevailing things, let me just start with, but the topic given is the future is here. The future is here is what is the topic given. And let me just talk about the difficult times owing to Corona. The world has seen several such crises, several such situations filled with this kind of crisis, but the humanity has gone on. The lessons that this Corona is teaching us is what is the response that we have to this situation, and our positive thinking and disruption, and how do we handle it. So I think the response so far has been great in our country because we are able to contain pretty well, and our leadership has been very, very quick in responding. And we need to keep on to our positive thinking that this too shall pass and we will be back to whatever we were, and we'll march on from where we were. Let's have the positive thinking, and disruptions are forever. Some disruption or the other should be there so that we think. Otherwise, life becomes sort of, I wouldn't say this is a very welcome disruption, but then, anyway, this disruption too needs to be handled. Let's go back to this topic. The future is here. How we think presently help us to build the future. So if you are talking about tomorrow, what is it that you are thinking today is what is going to be your tomorrow. Tomorrow cannot happen in a very positive way unless you plan for it today. A major influence on our present thinking is because of our past. It is always history that tells us what has been the right thing, what has helped, what has not helped. All these things really help. I mean, past is your present and present will be your future. Let's now think what is future is here in terms of nationally, globally, or individually. And then again segment them into short term, medium term, and long term. See, nationally, what is it that you want? You want to keep to your sovereignty. As a nation, you would like to be an exemplary nation in terms of Mr. Ramanan was just now giving an excellent talk on how innovation can help a nation to progress, prosper. And so we need to take a cue from his talk on how important it is to help innovative thinking to happen, and a very noble initiative made from Atal Innovation Center by providing different types of help to students who are interested in innovating. So let's talk about nationally, we need to be an exemplary nation. Globally, people, we just were talking about one global village. And suddenly this disruption is making us probably rethink, are we to think on those lines or think differently? But then, the technology has come to such a thing that globe is a village. Today, we know what is happening in US, what is happening in Japan, what is happening in Switzerland, what is happening in any part of any nooks and corners of the world. Though there is a huge issue before us, We know how each country is dealing with it. So we learn what is to be done, what needs to be curtailed from. So globally, this global village concept will continue, and individually, of course, our individual personal needs of having to achieve whatever that we plan to achieve. And then again, to think about short term and then mid-term and long term. When it comes to short term, we think about how we can continue to sustain whatever that we are enjoying. On a short term, like right now, we are all a little bit disrupted because we are not able to get out. We are not able to do shopping. We are not able to go to our campuses. We are not able to pursue our professions. Everything has been disrupted. But on a short term thinking, we always want to make sure that whatever that we have been enjoying, whatever that we have been, see, I enjoy my profession, I enjoy my family, I enjoy enjoy being with my friends, or I enjoy going out, I enjoy travel. All these things I would like it to be continuing. Okay, this is my short term. And then medium term, whatever that I enjoy, I would like it to be for my lifetime. And then on a long term, we think about how to sustain whatever we enjoy to our future generations. So that is where sustainable thinking comes in. Now, let us think about what is it that we are enjoying. All of us want to be happy, have peace of mind, good health, great wealth, whatever be. Whatever that we think that we are enjoying, we would like more of what we enjoy, and always think about enhancing the quality as well as the quantity of whatever we have. The future of anything depends on how well we understand our needs and the mode of achieving the same. See, we have lots of our needs, and we also think about the modes of achieving them. Now, let me come to education. As far as education is concerned, future of education can undergo a lot of changes in the delivery models. See, our own experience in our campus, because of this COVID, all campuses are closed. In the earlier, the academic year, which is just not ended still, the teachers told me that they have a 3 weeks of learning yet to be completed. So they put those 3 weeks of learning on an online mode, and they're telling us that it has been very successful. The students are able to go through their lessons, and on going through their whatever feedback that they get, the teachers feel that learning is happened. But still, this is something new to us. This is a little new to our teachers. Our teachers are used to being in the class, in a physical class of where they can see the students, they can look at their eyes, then they can look at their body language, and the students can in turn observe how the teacher is delivering and the body language of the teacher. So this kind of a communication has gone on for very many years, and now a Sky Campus is something that we'll have to get used to. Once we are back out of this crisis, I'm sure we will go back to campus, because as human, we need this kind of social contact. We need this kind of one-on-one interaction, but a lot will be done offline too. I mean, online too, through cloud setup, online learning. All this is now proved to be a great help, and I think more learning will happen. Learning can be both qualitative and quantitative, and maybe the students who have probably a 52 credits, they can do more online, whatever other things that they want to learn. And whatever that they are learning, they can go in for higher learning. Like, supposing they say, like, for to earn an undergraduate program, you do a 3 credit, and a syllabus is decided, okay, and you are told, okay, this is what I'm going to give you as an undergraduate student. And the varied needs of a class can be addressed through this online teaching, because in a class, the learning capabilities or interests may vary. A certain number of students may be happy with what they have been given as a syllabus, or they may even think, I don't want to even learn this much. Let me go for a one credit for this particular pro. That is enough for me. I'm not interested in this. And some students may think, I want more. I want to learn more about this and less of that. Now it becomes learner centric purely. The learner decides what is it that he wants to learn more, what is it that he wants to learn less, what is it that he is interested in pursuing more, what is it that he is not interested in learning at all. So there is no pushing students to learn what has been decided that this is what he has to learn. So this kind of a liberation is absolutely great for students. The student decides what he wants, but still he needs a guide. He needs a guide because he is in that age group between 17 and 21, or if you take the schooling, let us say from age 5 to 16, they need a certain guide for every step, because ours is a society that has always had this, respect for this guru. And not only our society, every society, we may call them mentors, guides. It is always good to have somebody to consult with. If you don't want me to tell somebody who can teach you or lecture to you or something, you learn everything on a online medium. You've gone through a lot of online material, and you understood the way that you think that you understood the way you understood it, and you need somebody to discuss this. So you have peer learning, of course. Another student will come and say, yes, I went through this material and it is interesting. And I read the same material by some other author, and this is how he has put it, and I think this is interesting. So peer learning is something that can also happen, but you need someone who has probably learnt or gone through this particular material for more number of years and done a little bit of research on that, and who knows this is the right thing. Right now, this is the best way to understand that. So it is good to connect with a guru, either in a physical campus or an online mode. And physical campus, it is always, we human beings need interaction. Today, what are we all unhappy about? We are all unhappy that we are not able to get out of the house. Do you have the need to get out of the house? Initially, we were all very happy. Okay, holiday, let me relax, let me chill, let me do whatever that I wanted to do all this while. Okay, 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, okay, fine. But now, what am I doing just within these four walls? It can work on your psyche. It can become a problem. So you need to get out, meet with your peer, meet with people who can guide you. So these are important things for human beings also. Like I said, our society has always had high regard for the teachers or guru. Guru is a person who acquired his knowledge from his guide and is willing to impart to his student. Whether it's a sky campus or a physical campus, a guide is needed. The desire to learn and the desire to teach are two important things. See, whatever the future is here for those who want to learn, and when there is a facility or available guide to help this learner, eager learner. The desire to learn and the desire to teach are two important things in education. And in a crisis situation such as now, the distance mode of learning is very, very helpful. We cannot deny that. A stable future for learning could be a blended method. I would advocate a blended method of Sky and Earth campus, or a virtual as well as in-person guru should be advocated. My little worry is like, never go gung-ho on anything. It's good. Sky campuses are excellent. Online learning is excellent. Like I said, it would become 100% learner centric. Learner can learn what he wants. But in India, we need to also scale up the hardware facilities. Some places, the bandwidth may not be enough. All students may not be having the access for the bandwidth. So we cannot overlook these kind of things. Once we have achieved all these things, I think 100%, I would say, like, yeah, it's good to go online. But we need to achieve this. That is why we are looking for 5G to come into our space. This 5G technology is definitely going to help education, health, all such sectors. Like Sundar Pichai has given a video on how 5G and AI together is going to help health sector. You know, artificial intelligence as a tool can help people to understand what is the status of their current health, and if the current health continues the same way, how his health would be in 10 years to come, 20 years to come, 30 years to come, all his life. Same way, artificial intelligence is something, a great tool that helps for a lot of analytics, and it helps, in fact, at this point, this COVID crisis in our own campus. Let me share my experience. We started a group called Let Us Discuss on this COVID, and all my teachers, researchers joined the group, and we all have been discussing on what is it. See, as nearly close to 600 teachers in the campus, most of them having double degrees in technology, and a lot of them having their research facility, it is good to sympathize on the situation. We all are very sympathetic. Of course, everybody is sympathetic. But as educated individuals, we need to think about what is it that you can do. So the campus came out with quite a few products, like in terms of ventilators, a temporary ventilator support, and then a dispenser for sanitizers. And the best innovation that has come is, of course, using this AI technology. The students and the teachers have come out with just through an X-ray, uploading an X-ray online, you can find out whether you have this coronavirus or not. This is dependable 95%, they say. I'm happy about these kind of things, because we need to definitely, like Mr. Ramanan was talking about, we need to definitely innovate. Education becomes meaningless unless we apply to solve problems, solve the crisis, or solve the problems. Uh, a stable future for learning could be a blended method. Why I'm saying is only because of the hardware lack of hardware facilities, and also when you depend only on one source, if that source there is a problem, then you start wondering what to do. So have a blended method of maybe a 3-day campus and a 3-day online learning. I would definitely say most of this learning can be, these physical distances can be reduced. The travel can definitely be reduced. People can work from home. A lot of work can be accomplished sitting at home. But there is you can reduce the number of days that you work traveling, but you need to work 24/7 all 7 days. Okay, the reason or the need to blend is based on the needs of the human as a social animal. As I said, like the need to interact. And I would say let me get back to this topic of future is here. The future is here in India because we have a young population. The young population, that is more than 35% of our population. More than 50% of our population is less than 35 in age, which means either most of them are education seeking population, or people who are putting their education to use as first generation entrepreneurs, or as people who are just into taking a profession and pursuing a profession. So the young population is a plus, where we can say future is here, because the youth of India is more in number compared to the graying countries. And the education that they get is something that we need to talk about. Like, see, India became independent in 1947 after a century, close to a century's oppression by foreign power. And since the independence, we had a lot of important things to fix. But somewhere in 80s, there was this need felt to privatize education, because in 1964, during Radhakrishnan Committee, it was decided that 6% of the GDP is to be devoted for the education sector. But unfortunately, having to deal with so many other issues, the government is not able to provide that 6% of the GDP to the education sector. So in 80s, when the privatizing of the education came about, lots of people got in to education, and more now the GER has gone up. Gross enrollment ratio has gone up tremendously because of the private providers. And in fact, when we got this opportunity in 2000, this Y2K crisis, when it came, that is when already those campuses that have, all the private campuses that have started functioning and started producing quality students, they were there available in the market to work towards this Y2K crisis. And that is how slowly this software as a destination for India began, I would say. And so education, that we are able to now sort of manage educating the masses, and now we need to bring in quality and class into this education that we are providing. That is very important. While handling the quantity, we should also not compromise the quality. This is the challenge that we've been having in the education sector. Now this online learning is coming as a great boon at this point, and we need somebody to really sort out and tell the students what is it that they learn from this online that is available, and refer to them the right online learning material. And this would definitely help. Today's education is future. Like I said, to our youth, strength of the youth is future. Today the education that they get is going to be the future. The awareness of sustainable learning. The awareness of sustainable learning is something that is very important. Like whatever that we do today, if future is here, if the future is something that has to be with you, then you have to be aware of what is sustainable and what is not sustainable. You know, what is sustainable is something that we think in terms of not today alone, we think about future also. What works today should work tomorrow also. That is sustainability. So we need to think about whatever we do, will it work tomorrow? Will it help tomorrow also? That is sustainable. And leaderships that we create today is future. What is the kind of leadership that we are creating today? Who are the leaders that today's youngsters are emulating? That is going to be our future. So creating right leadership is very important for the right future, and exposure that the youngsters get today, that is very important too. Because the kind of exposure, like Mr. Ramanan was talking about, wonderful, the kind of the kind of facilities that are being provided by the government to encourage innovation, because knowledge creation is something that can happen through learning the right resources, learning what you learn and assimilating what you learned and reproducing what you learned at the right time and for the right purposes is something that is very important. And the exposure that the students today, particularly over different things, like, you know, they get an exposure on to what is to happen. They can literally get into a time machine and see their future with reference to their past and looking at what is happening at the present. And the exposure they get in the campuses in terms of technology, in terms of social infrastructure, everything is important. You know, I would not say exposure in terms of only social infrastructure or only technological exposure. Everything is needed, and all the exposure together, all the good exposures together will help the students or youth of today to see the future that is here. And I'm sure with our kind of young population that we have, if we give them the right leadership to emulate and give them all the exposure that they need, facilities that they need, provide everything, and I'm sure the number of countries that are growing would depend on your country, so the future would be here. And our students should never forget the great civilization that we have, and innovation has always been in our culture. Let us not think that innovation is something that has been borrowed from the West. That is something that has been with us. During the 17th century, India was leading in the GDP. That is something that we are forgetting today. So, every adversity has its own positive things. Like this COVID also may bring in a lot of positive things for our younger generation. People talk about future is in India because of the youth power and the knowledge that they have and the ability that with which they can serve the global community. I'm sure we will be able to improve on our economy through our innovative thoughts, improve the economy, and I'm sure the GDP can go back to what we were in the 17th century, leading the globe. We may lead in terms of the best of the GDP. Future is going to be for those who think global good without forgetting the local roots. We should not forget our local roots. Our local roots are our 5,000-year-old civilization, our Vedic thoughts, and our several people such as from C.V. Raman, Ramanujan, or Dr. Abdul Kalam, people who have led lives through their examples. So we should not, our youngsters should not forget all these stalwarts, how they have achieved in their lives, and continue to work very hard. Because today's youth may get carried away thinking that everything is by the touch of a button. You can probably open a website, but still it is you who should go through the hardship of understanding what is being given, and then assimilate it, and then test it and do research on it and see what good can come out of it to be applied to the society. So all this is there. Um, so critical thinking that leads to problem solving skills is very important, and I would say today's youngsters are very, very capable. They know what is happening, and only thing, they should have that positive thinking. They should have that confidence that they can make it. They can, as Indians, they can be leading the world in serving the world the best to the best of their capabilities. And I would just say that future is, when we say future is here, what is it that you do today? That is very, very important. How we are using your time, how best are you able to use your time in terms of doing good to the society is very important. With these words, let me thank the organization for giving me the opportunity to talk about future is here, because I was just initially wondering when they were talking about future is here in this kind of crisis situation. I thought, okay, very good. Let us talk. There are people who think in terms of positive thinking at this kind of an adverse times. I'm very thankful to ICT for coming out with this beautiful topic, and thank you very much, Anbu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. It was a real pleasure listening to you, because so far we have been listening to government policy makers and industry. No more of telling what industry will look forward and things like that. I think you made and one important point which everybody liked is you insisted on the role of teacher, irrespective of Sky Campus coming in, the Earth Campus will still continue to exist in a very because this doubt is always there. No, even offline, many people were asking, sir, is online learning going to eat away all our roles and things like that? I think you made it very clear, man. So, can you just tell once again the role? Do you think the role of teacher will come down because of online learning at any point in time in the future, according to
O-
you?
Online learning is something that has come today, but gurus have been there for many years. You need a guide.
Yes,
You can learn. You can be a very small percentage of people can be 100% self learners, but a majority of people need a guide.
okay.
You may be very clear about what you have learned, but you need one, because we are all social animals. We should not forget that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I think you know that's it. I heard this already, but still, I thought let it be the closing message which everybody in this room can take. The
Teachers
guru.
can teachers or the in agricultural term we call it vidanel. You know,
Okay, that's important. Most important element.
you know to do any kind of a growth, you need the seeds. Seeds are the teachers. You should not
Exactly.
lose the seeds at all.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
Now
you, thank
you
you very much,
throw a
thank you
lot of
very much.
points. Thanks a lot for your inspiring message. No more than questions, there were only comments and no thanking you for your inspiring session. Thanks a lot, and we were very happy to listen to you. We will also see one another opportunity after some time if this extends. We will listen to you again, ma'am.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, ma'am. Thank you very much, all the participants, for joining this day one of this season.